Welcome to Ebony Voice. I'm Cherry Smith, where we talk about the African American culture, things that are hurting our people, and what we can do to heal. Again, I always like to start by saying how much I love my people, my culture, and the experiences that it has afforded to my life. We're extremely vibrant, powerful, creative, passionate people, and there's lots that's good about our culture, and that's why I think it's worth talking about, why I think it's worth taking the time to talk about some tough and some hard issues. On my last Ebony Voice, I talked about how young teenage girls were talking about having babies because they knew their babies would love them. Dysfunction behind that mindset that is looking for a love from a child when an adult is supposed to give the love toward the child, not the child toward the love toward the adult. And so I spent some time talking about that, piggybacking off of Bill Cosby's show he did a couple weeks ago, promoting his new book entitled Come On People, Pathway from Victim to Victor. And kind of piggyback on that. But today I want to talk to the young men. I want to talk to the young brothers out there who are facing some very difficult situations and challenges, or are part of the African American culture, but are up against some difficult odds. And so some things that have helped me in being an African American male, and some things that I think will be very positive in getting yourself in the right direction. So, one of the first things I want to begin to talk about, and I won't spend a lot of time on it, we'll develop a whole section to it some of the time, but that's education. And I can't say enough to you young men, get your education. School is not that hard, bruh. It is not that hard. It is sometimes, and I believe in most cases, people drop out of school not because the work is not doable, it's because of other issues, because of family issues, because of peer pressures, because of lack of finances, because of wanting to do other things. So let me just say to you, to all of you young black men out there, you are capable, you're smart, you've got great minds. You can't tell me that all of this creativity and ingeniousness that we create in businesses and all of these programs and events that we do as African American people, that all of our children are illiterate and ignorant and can't learn. I disagree with that. Even if you don't know a lot, you have the capacity to develop that mind and that brain, which means you have the ability. And I want you to hear me today clearly. I want you to hear me today clearly when I say to you, you have the ability to do the work. And so don't let your other circumstances keep you from getting your paper. Your paper determines your degree. And a lot of times jobs won't even look at you unless you have a degree. You have a diploma, you have a degree, you have some college experience, classwork, coursework, and such the other. Education is important. Get to school. Don't be messing around, going to the stores, hanging out. Hanging out is for people who have no goals. Hanging out is for people who don't have anything else to do. They're not going anywhere. That's what hanging out is. Hanging out means I don't have anything to do. I don't have anywhere to go. And there's no reason why you should not have anywhere to go Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Now, if you want to hang out, you hang out on an off day. You hang out on a Saturday or on a Sunday or whatever that off day is for you. You find a time to hang out after you've done about 5 or 6 days of some intense work. Nothing wrong with hanging out, but you hang out after you put in your time of labor, put in your time of work. Better yourself, progress yourself. It's important. It's significant. Let's shift a little bit from the education, and just let me just talk to you, brothers. Let me talk to you about fitting in. You talk about fitting in. I know that young men like to fit in. You want to be like everybody else, and I know that a lot of times you purchase your clothes to dress like other people. You know, you sometimes don't want your parents to buy you particular clothes because it doesn't look like what everybody else is wearing. And so you want to be like everybody else. You want to fit in. And that's what fitting in is. Fitting in means that you comply to the standard. You just kind of mesh in with the rest of the colors in the picture. Well, the African American culture, I believe, is so powerful that we don't need to mesh in. We need to stand out. So, rather than fitting in, I would say be unique. Be unique. In other words, be one of a kind. Be unique. Be one of a kind. Don't try to fit in. A lot of times when I was in my up-and-coming day, and I was in my heyday per se, and kind of going out and clubbing and doing different things, everybody was doing the same dance. Everybody was wearing the same thing. Everybody was trying to get the same kind of car. Me and my partners, we go out and we say, well, we want to set a different standard. So while everybody else was there and, jeans and t-shirt or whatever, we come suits and ties. Of course we stood out. Of course we got attention. Of course we got some extra perks as well. But the point of the story is that we defied the odds. We took the risk to stand out, to be unique. Fitting in doesn't get you ahead. Fitting in just carries you with the majority. In other words, nobody sees you. When you fit in, nobody sees you. You don't stand out. And you know what? If you don't have the courage or the confidence or belief in yourself that you actually are somebody unique, and then maybe you need to just go on and mesh in. But that's why I'm having this ebony voice, because I'm trying to say that I believe our particular culture has gone through some significant setbacks. And if we made it through some setbacks, then we have some unique things that we have to offer to the world. Here's my theory, my philosophy. I think that anybody who has gone through almost hell and back, who's gone through something as devastating and debauching as slavery, where another man of a different color, equal capacity, is no different humanly, has no reason to even think whatsoever that he is in any way better than or superior to a person of my color. That anybody who goes through that, any culture that survives that, I believe has something to offer. Anytime God brings you through a devastating car accident, a horrible divorce, or a bad situation, I believe it is done so because you are unique. You have something to offer. And in that particular situation, you have something you have to give. Now, why do I think you are unique? You have something to offer? Because we're talking about everybody doesn't go through slavery. Major car accidents, near-death experiences are not what the 8 billion people in America are experiencing. That's a smaller number. And that smaller number is people who are unique. We're a smaller number. We are a culture who experienced a devastating time of slavery. And if we made it through that, if our forefathers and great mothers, patriarchs, matriarchs fought for us to be able to have an opportunity to express that, then I think it's worth it. I think it's worth the finding our uniqueness to be able to stand out and to be able to make a difference. This is why I'm so against the N-word as well. This N-word represents such a negative time of our past, and we must learn how to use our negative past to fuel us toward positive energy, not to keep regurgitating or repeating it so as to create anger and violence and desperation in situations. But so much so, we won't forget it. I could say the N-word. I know exactly what it, it's there, but I'll use it for fuel to make me a positive person, to be able to show you uniqueness. This is what I was called, but here's what you need to call me today. Dr. So-and-so, Mr. So-and-so, philanthropist, so-and-so, president, so-and-so, chief executive officer, so-and-so, Esquire, so-and-so. These are the titles you need to have behind your name. So stand out. Don't just fit in. Be unique. And a sub point of that would be you have the right to be you. People have paved the way for you to have the right to be you. I don't want to be Asian. I don't want to be European American. I don't want to be Indian American. I want to be African American. I want to be who I am because I've earned the right to be who I am. I don't want to change it. I don't want to be anybody else. I have a plethora of experiences. I have a myriad of circumstances that have challenged my self-esteem, my integrity, my character, my meaning, my value. And because of that, I have a right to be who I am. One is, my brothers, is that you have a right to be who you are. And there are a number of experiences that people have gone through and a number of sacrifices that people have made in order for you to be a very powerful man. Not just an individual who exists on some small level, but a very powerful man. You must learn the art of power. Power is not just about money. Power has a lot to do with self-control, discipline, structure, being able to know when to speak and when not to speak. These are all elements that I wish that our young men would be able to partake of. Secondly, first aspect was fitting in. Secondly, talk about setting a standard. Learn how to set the tone or the precedence. You come into a room, you ought to set the standard, not be a follower. Don't look at images and try to pattern your life behind that image. You know, what you see on TV and in the videos and with the rap artists or with the football players or basketball players or singers and all of that. Don't look at those scenarios and say, well, I need to be like that. You set a standard. In other words, set the bar for you. Who do you want to be because you're you? Don't look at the image and pattern yourself behind it, but rather you create the image. And then you make the pattern from the image. It's like sewing. It's like when people make an outfit. They sketch out the image, they have an idea of the image, and then they start sewing in the pattern. They do the outline. They start putting it together. The outline comes first, and they fill in all the meat and the good stuff. I'm not saying you have to have it all together. I'm not saying you have to know every answer, what you want to be. You know, you're 16, you're 17, you're 15, you're 14. You know, you're up and coming. But I am saying, begin to see an image of who you want to be. You might have an idea, an outline, so you can start patterning it. And when you have a pattern, when you have an idea, when you know where you're going, who you kind of want to be, then you can start saying no to drugs. You can start saying no to sex and no to other things that come to destroy you. No to negative people who are out to get you to hang out, the gang bang and all that kind of stuff. It's not worth it. It's not worth it. I've seen young men in lockup. I've seen young men on the street and get locked up again. Be out for 2 days and then get locked up again. That's foolishness. Did you learn anything the first time while you were locked up? Then get free and stay free. So set a standard, set a tone, set a precedence. And here's what flows into the third point, which is be first sometimes. Sometimes because we're ashamed of who we are, or we might not know the answer, we hold back. We let others answer first. We let others speak up. We let others do some things first. I say, no, be first sometimes. Stand up, be first. What I used to do when I went to college, a lot of us, we have a tendency to go to the desks in the back. And most of my teachers were Caucasian and very good teachers, excellent teachers. But I sit in the front on purpose because I want you to know I'm in your class and I want you to know that I'm going to raise my hand. And sometimes you get the reverse effect because sometimes you start raising your hand so much they won't call on you because you've got an answer and they want other people to participate. That's the way I want my life to be. I want my life to be so upfront and in your face that you have to begin to balance it. That's my point. We need to be so out front to not where people are shutting us down, but we have so many answers, so many ideas, so many thoughts that you are forced to go to other cultures to provide balance. Because if you don't go to other cultures, we will monopolize. In other words, not monopolize in the sense of supremacy, but monopolize in the sense we have something to say. We have suggestions, we have ideas, we have thoughts of our own, we have places that we have created in our minds, images that we think will work and we think it's viable to put on the table. So be first sometimes, volunteer, and don't worry about the wrong answer. Because I guarantee you, it's about 8 other people, 15 other people in that class who don't have the right answer either. They just didn't want to stand out and say it. But I don't even know who they are. I don't know who they are. If I went back to my colleges today, if I went back to the universities today, they would know who I am. They would say, that's Cherry Smith. Why? Because I raised my hand. Man, I had all the right answers. But they know me because I raised my hand. You got to get out there, man. You got to get out there, young man. Not looking like a thug and hanging out and being distasteful. But you got to make a stab at it. You got to make a jump at it. You got to try for the job. Go for the job. Apply to Harvard. Let them send you. All they can do is say no. I'll never get in Stanford. I'll never get in Cambridge. I'll never get in Tuskegee. I'll never get in Prairie View. I'll never get in Grambling. You know, wherever you want to go, you go wherever you want to go. So you don't have to go to black college. It's good to go to black college. Go wherever you want to go. This is the beauty of being African American, that you can go wherever you want to go. This is the beauty of being an American. You can go wherever you want to go. Apply. All I can do is say no. So what? Send me a rejection letter. Now my name is on your file. That's fine. I want you to know who I am. I want people to know who I am, not just for my successes, but for my failures as well, because at the end of my life, it's not how you started, it's how you end. And if I end up a powerful man of integrity and character, people will look back at my life and be able to say, wow, this is a great man, but look at all of his failures. Oh, he overcame that. There are lots of scenarios that are going around today about how many times it took Thomas Edison before he discovered his experiment and all of that. And many people we know are failures. Einstein, and how many compositions did Beethoven, Brahms throw away before they actually came up with their final composition. And you're going to mess up. You're going to fail. Don't be afraid to have that on the record sometimes. I'm not saying that's all you want, but that ought to give you incentive to be able to go the extra step. Look at how you dress. Talk about youth pride, young men with pride. You know, sometimes I go through the community and I just look at all the white t-shirts and I just say to myself, well, I guess nobody wants to stand out. No, everybody wants to blend in. You want to have a white tee. You know, where my white tee at? Where my white tee? Where my tees at? You know, I would like to see a day where I drive through the community and I see all the young men wearing suits and ties. Okay, I don't have a suit. You got a white shirt and a tie. Okay, I don't have a white shirt. You got a shirt and a tie. You can borrow a tie from somebody. A man who has ties, he's got more than one. He's probably got 15, so that's 15, 10. He can lend to 10 African Americans in the community. Let people begin to see that we are a people of pride. We say it all the time. I'm black and I'm proud. Say it loud. I'm black. Well, if you're proud, then dress yourself up. Stop walking around looking like a thug or looking like you don't have anything to offer. Comb your hair. Stop letting your girlfriend braid your hair all the time. Okay, get it braided sometime. That's fine. That's part of our culture. Plaits and French braids, cornrows, all that. That's wonderful. With the natural look, that's wonderful. But tame it, straighten it. Make it look decent. Let it look right with the outfit. Sometimes cornrows don't go with a suit and tie. Sometimes having a short haircut, maybe a more natural look, dreads looks better with a different kind of look. You know, just all I'm saying is make it work to where you establish an identity, a personality, where people begin to respect you for who you are. And don't just turn away from you by a stereotype saying, you don't have nothing to offer. He's got on a bland white t-shirt and khakis. Nothing to offer me. I was at a conference not long ago and I had on a particular tie and they said, man, that's a great tie you have on. People know you for the tie. People are not going to say, oh, that's a great white t-shirt you have on. That's a great white t-shirt. Nobody's going to say that's a great white t-shirt. You're going to say that's a great hat. That's a great tie. Those are great shoes. That's a great jacket. Something that stands out. And these are only entryways for them to get to know the real person behind all that, because dress means nothing. Ultimately, behind character, all those things point to establishing your identity. All right, let's wrap this up. Here's a way, one thing we've got to work on as well. Keeping the anger down. There's a lot of angry young men out there. I feel you, bro. I know you got stuff you upset about. You know, maybe, you know, you didn't get the things that you thought you wanted or deserved, pops wasn't around or moms wasn't around, and just for the record, it ain't all about dads not being around. I know that that's a large number, but sometimes, moms are doing some crazy stuff nowadays too. I understand you, bro. I'm feeling you. You live in a horrible neighborhood, you're around a gang-infested area, rodent-infested area, horrible apartment, you got a slumlord, It doesn't look good, I understand that. Then there are others who have lots of things. They've got, a nice car, great parents, so on and so forth, people with education, but they're still not happy because they're controlled. You're controlled by your mom. Your dad's going to make sure you get the career he wants you to have or whatever. The point is, we got to keep the anger down because anger leads to destruction. Anger leads to crime and devastation, which is not good. It just doesn't help our culture. Anger doesn't help our culture. Anger doesn't help our culture. Anger doesn't help it. Here's how you can deal with anger. Find a coach. Find somebody you can talk that stuff down to. I was going through some difficult stuff at one point, and I had this partner, I had a friend I called, a couple of them actually I called. And I call him, I say, hey man, hey, talk me down. This is what I'm thinking foolish. I know I shouldn't be thinking it, but this is what I'm thinking. Trying to keep it real. And I say, talk me down. Just talk me down. And they say, man, you don't need to do that. And here's why. Number one, you'll be locked up. You'll be locked up. Number two, you could get hurt. You could get killed. You could be devastated. Number three, what about your family? What about the loved ones? What about the people who care about you? Number four, what about your education? What about your career? What about your future, man? You want to jeopardize your future by one emotional response? One situation can destroy the rest of your life. It's not worth it. Find a coach. Find a partner. I call him the coach. That's your coach. It might be somebody on your football team, basketball team. Sometimes there's some coaches who are good coaches out there. Some who are not. They may be good coaches athletically, but they're not good personal coaches. So just because they're technically titled a coach doesn't mean that they have what you need. Find a coach. Your father, your brother, your uncle, friend, your boss, somebody you can talk to, a teacher that you can just ask, can I hang out for 5 minutes with you every week after school? Just give me 5 minutes where I can just let off my steam. All I'm trying to do is just talk it out. Or ask them for their cell number. If they want to develop that, a lot of teachers are willing to help people who want to help themselves. Put yourself out there. Keep the anger down. Journal. You don't have to write it in a book. You don't have to get a diary. Put it on a computer. You get you a little your BlackBerry. You can type it in your BlackBerry. All those little gadgets you have. Just get that stuff out, man. Start talking that stuff out. This is why I'm mad. I don't like that this happened, but here's how I'm going to respond. This shouldn't have happened. I'm angry because of this. Talk it out. Or go shoot basketball by yourself. Why are you shooting by yourself on your court and you be yelling while you're shooting? Or go to the batting cage. Take it out on some balls. $3, you can take $3, $5, you can get 20, 50 balls, 100 balls, something like that. Hit them, crunch them, baby. Get that stuff out. Find a place of solitude, a place where you can have some me time, personal time. You just kind of work this stuff out in your head and then reflect. Why am I mad? And then, what is being mad going to do about it? You be upset, pissed off, angry, ready to show just out of your mind. And then what? Okay, you threw the lamp at the wall. Okay, then what? Now you got to pay for it. What? What does anger do? What does anger accomplish? Nothing. Okay, you go key somebody's car. And? What has it done for what they did to you? Nothing. It's a get back? Man, we got to live beyond getting back. We're not about getting back. We're about getting ahead. We're not trying to go back. We're not trying to solve problems of the past. We're trying to look to the future. There's nothing we can do about the past. But if we make better decisions in the future, we can make the past of our future much more positive. So, get some time where you can reflect. Finally, my brothers, find something to believe in. Find something to focus your mind on and say, I believe in this. I believe I'm going to be an excellent football player. I believe that I can make a major contribution to society. I believe I'm a good dad. I believe, though I had this baby early, I believe that I can take care of it. I believe that I'm going to be a good son. I believe that I'm going to be at home at a decent hour. I believe that there is good in this world, that everybody's not out trying to get me. I believe in spirituality. I believe in what's positive. I believe in God. I believe that there are things that are better out there for me than drugs and alcohol and partying and hanging out. Find something to believe in and lock on it. And I'm not saying that everything you believe in will always be right. There's some stuff I believed in early in my life was just wrong. But my mama told me, she said, make sure you stand for something unless you're caught standing for nothing. And I'd rather be caught standing for something. That's what I believe. That's what I was convicted on. Rather than to be standing around and not have any kind of conviction or belief whatsoever. You have a chance, young man, to make our culture powerful and positive. You could be the next Colin Powell. You could be the next Denzel Washington. You could be on the Supreme Court Justice, Clarence Thomas. You could be the next President of the United States of America. You can be whoever you want to be. You have a shot. You have a shot. I'm a lot older. You know, a lot of my time has passed, but still I got a good 50, 60 left. And I'm making a difference. I'm making a difference by turning, looking back and saying, hey, here's how you can move forward. Here's how you can be powerful. Here's how you can be good. So, I just want to encourage you, brothers, get your education. Don't worry about fitting in. Be unique. Set a standard. Set the tone. Set the precedence. Be first sometimes. Volunteer, step out. Watch how you dress. Dress with youth pride. Keep the anger down. Find a coach. Journal. Get some solitude. Reflect. Find something to believe in. You're my brother. You're my son. You're my future. I'm Cherry Smith. This is Heavenly Voice. Peace. Dear Lord, forgive us for not loving one another simply because of someone's color,